You know, Clayton, they always say that Crocs are a little rubbery, but I think this one's going to cook up just fine.
We always get asked what we do with all the meat from the birds that we kill throughout the season. And this next series that we're going to put up on YouTube throughout the year is going to show you some of our favorite recipes we've come across and that we cook on a daily basis. Now, we'll get started right after we munch on a few pretzels. Hey guys, so before we head to the store and get the rest of the stuff for our stir fry, I want to show you a little bit of what we do to get the duck meat ready to go and pre-seasoned up. So here I go. I got 8 breasts right here, so 4 total ducks. And I'm going to put these guys in a bigger bowl, get that juice and stuff that they drained off of them. Now I've already went through and cleaned the feathers off and tried to find any BBs that might be hiding in there. So they should be good to go. Now the secret ingredient, I think, to make this stir fry a hit is right here. This hoisin sauce. It's a delicacy. So you're going to take your measuring cup and you're going to fill that sucker up. So I got a 1/4 cup of hoisin. Now the flavor's all there, but so you can get the whole duck covered, you're going to take another 1/4 cup of water, put her all on top of there. Then you're going to take this garlic right here, just minced garlic, and you're just going to get a nice coat. You got to remember it's going to be watered down and we're going to redo this later, but you just want it nice and covered. Then all you got to do is mix the duck up. See, that hoisin now is all watery. You just want it nice and covered. And there you go. So we're going to put this in the fridge. We're going to let it sit for about an hour, and we're going to cook it up, and it's going to be real good.
Hey, are we home this weekend?
That's the plan.
Yeah, well, but see, okay, now in my defense, it says Latin Amer Foods, and then this, the canned pasta. So when I'm looking for stuff, I don't think to look for hoisin or sriracha. And the canned pasta. And we want to give a special shout out to Tony for giving us this recipe. It changed my life.
It's a fan favorite.
Not many recipes have changed my life, but this one really has. Because I've had duck stir fry in the past, but ooh, this is the way to do it. So we're going to get started with the rice. This here says 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water. Pretty easy. Can't mess that one up. I just messed it up.
We gotta boil the water first.
Oh no! Oh, you know, it's a good thing I got my looks going for me, man, because... Alright, take 2. 1.5 cups of water for 1 cup of rice. Pretty hard to mess it up. So we get that going. And while that's going, Clayton's going to start up on the meat. So we got the rice at a nice, or the water for the rice at a nice boil. So we're going to throw that in there and give it a little action. Turn down your heat. Pretty hard to mess up.
Alright guys, so we made it back from the store, and we've had this here duck breast, and it is nice and marinated here. So I got my electric skillet going. I like to do that just to kind of regulate the temperature. And I got it set at 300 degrees on the nose. So I'm going to lightly coat the bottom of this with some vegetable oil. Ain't nothing's good if it's healthy. I'm going to let that oil heat up for just a tad bit. And then all that's going on here is I'm going to place each of these breasts in there. Alright, I got all those in there and sitting, and I'm just going to pour the rest of this juice in there. Now later, we'll drain this and the oil, and then coat it with a thicker hoisin sauce coating to give it that final flavor put over the rice. Alright, so now that these are starting to get brown on the bottom side, I'm going to go through and flip them all over. There's two ways to go about doing this. You can either cut it beforehand and just cook it straight through until it's done, or if you're doing it the way I'm doing right now, you don't want the duck breast to be cooked all the way through. Okay, so I'm flipping it over, and it's like browning hamburger basically. I'm going to get it both sides browned up, then I'm going to pull them off of here, drain all this mess, slice them up, and then cook them down with the rest of that sauce. I do this so that sauce can get soaked in once I cut and it still stays nice and tender. So we got it flipped, and in a few minutes we'll take them off and slice them up. Alright, so we got both sides brown, but you can see there's still lots of blood coming out. So now I'm just going to take them off there one at a time. I'm going to slice. I like to kind of go across the grain because I think it makes the meat a little more tender. So you can see in there, the edges are nice and brown, but that middle is still rich and pretty raw, so it's going to be able to soak up all that flavoring we're about to put in.
Hey Clayton.
Hey, what?
My dad told me a joke today. You want to hear it?
Yeah, I guess so.
What did the deer say? The doe. What did she say when she left the trees and went into the cornfield?
I don't know.
She said, "Man, that's the last time I'm doing that again for $5."
Alright, so now that we got the duck browned on the edges and cut up and back in here, we're going to put the more concentrated hoisin and garlic sauce, and we're going to add a little bit of sriracha for a little spice action, just to give it that final flavor and to give it a little bit of a sauce, almost a gravy-like, to put over when we have it with the rice. A 1/4 cup of hoisin. And I'm going to drizzle it all across there. But then I'm only going to do about a 1/16 to an 1/8 cup of water this time. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to sprinkle the garlic right back on top again. And then the last step, this is brand new, so I'm going to have to open it here. Is a little bit of this sriracha. I'm going to take, I'm just going to put a spoonful right there in the middle, maybe a little extra. It kind of depends on how spicy you want it to get. The flavor will be about the same, I think, just the spice difference. So then, I'm just going to take my spatula and make sure it's all mixed up. You want it to have a nice little runniness, but not too watery, because this is where the real flavor is going to come out. Alright, then you're just going to sit there and let the duck simmer.
We got our veggies. You can use, if you're feeling fancy, you can use fresh vegetables, but we're not really fancy, so we just grabbed whatever kind of stir-fry veggies they had in the frozen section, and I just kind of drizzle it on top, and then work it in, and kind of fold it in and over. At least that's how I do it. Just so all them veggies get that good sauce on them too. And you can use any variation. I know Kroger's or Dillon's has 2 or 3 different styles of stir-fried veggies. Anything you get will work just fine. I look for an opportunity to put Dots pretzels in pretty much anything I eat because it's my favorite. So if you're wanting to garnish your stir fry, just do a little of the Salt Bay action on top. Look at that. Just for a little bit of added flair.
So we got a really rich flavor here. Nice and bubbly and dark, but I guess we should probably review the actual meal we made.
23 flavors. Alright, let's try it. It's a terrible sound. Delectable.
So we didn't cook the duck down too far, so it is still nice and moist. And since we added the garlic in at the end, it's quite a rich garlic flavor.
But not too overpowering.
No?
Well done.
The nice, we got some pea snaps and some green beans in here, and it really adds a crunchiness feel, so it changes the texture of the meal, and it's not bad. Quick, easy, and something I suggest you try at home.
And very cheap too. I think aside from the ducks, we maybe spent, I don't know, probably $5 on everything else. So
yeah, it's better though when Tony makes it. We can just go to his house.
Yeah,
so.
We don't have to work as hard. Some luscious, tempting, tasty, enticing.
Dr. Pepper, yeah.
Yeah, take a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, they're little babies.
That's okay. And then if it's bad, we say sickening, nauseating, repulsive, unappetizing, or revolting.
Well, I don't think it's...
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to be a true food critic, so I'm going to say delectable and palatable.
Wait, I got a little funny thing.
Action!
Hold on. Both sides browned up. Now I'm going to pull them off of here, drain all this mess, slice them up, and then cook them down with the rest of that sauce. I do this